Real close. Hey everybody, welcome back to Boob Tube. It's Wednesday, so of course it's not Boob Tube without my lovely co-host Casey Carter and Desirable Bottom. Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey, girl. Hey. Okay, I'm
So I'm
sorry.
on mobile. I didn't know it made my it was like that up close. So yeah.
Hello. Oh!
Welcome to the show.
I have it
Welcome
on
to the
like I
show.
have the chatterbait clip, like where you clip it to your to a surface and then it holds the phone and it has like a light. Well, the table that I have it connected to is a little bit too wide
Oh,
for the
so it's
gear.
it's gonna it's yeah, I got you.
I'm trying
Got
to
you.
figure out a plan B, but hello.
Hey.
Not my normal setup, clearly, but we'll
Okay, while
figure
you're
this
trying
out.
to figure your stuff out real quick, I just want to shout out all of the folks who popped in already. Shout out to all of you. We got K Smitty Productions. We got Hey Zany, Christopher, Enzo, the Caramel Goddess, Jason and Joe. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hello, hello. We hope you guys are having a
Hey.
wonderful week. Before we get started on what we're watching, I do want to touch base on a couple of things that are up and coming because I'm super excited. One, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is playing right now in theaters, and I'm not gonna lie, I low key kind of want to go to the theater and see it because I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. But even more interesting is I have the marshmallow guy costume that I've never worn. So I kind of want to go in costume.
Ah.
But
Oh,
I
Do
you
also
it.
have like I have the props from the movie, like the little the egg, what's that called? The plaster.
ectoplasm. Yeah.
Yeah, I got all that stuff. So
Dude, you
yeah, I
have
kind of want to
got
go.
to. You wait, hold on. All right, Christopher, I swear to you, if you can one day actually get my name right, I'm going to have Jay send you some merch. However, Casey All Night is still my favorite of the ways you say my name. And this is the only reason why I'm posting it up. Casey All Night, I'm here for it. Casey All Night. Okay. But I'm telling you, Christopher, if you can get my name right, I'm having merch sent to you. Seriously.
Right. We'll all send you a care package.
There you go.
Um, the second thing I want to bring up is House of Dragons comes out June
Yes.
16th. Season 2 comes
Okay.
out June 16th.
June
So excited.
16th is the best day of the year because it's my birthday. It's my
Woo!
Exactly.
birthday.
Why
Mm-hmm.
it definitely, I mean, we're
Woo!
all huge House of Dragons fans
Oh, most
anyways,
definitely.
but the fact that it comes out on your birthday I thought was very interesting.
Well,
The
listen.
third thing
Oh, yes, go
that's
ahead. Oh,
coming
wait. Before you do the
out,
third thing, I'm going to Vegas for my birthday, and Lorenzo was already like, "So, do you want to go out Saturday or Sunday? And if we go out Sunday, we got to go early because we need to be able to watch House of Dragons." I'm like, I love how you think. I love the fact that you're already figuring we got to be in front of a TV. Love
right,
that.
Facts.
right.
But go ahead, Carrie. Go ahead.
So he definitely gets partner of the year for that.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not gonna lie, my most anticipated release comes out September 6th, and that's Beetlejuice,
Yes.
which stars Jenna Ortega, who played Wednesday in the series, but
Love her.
also Winona Ryder and I can't remember the redhead's name. I can't remember her name. Catherine something. But anyway, she's in it as well. So it'll be interesting to and Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. So this is going
Yes.
to be I'm a huge fan of
Epic.
Beetlejuice. So
Me
epic.
too.
Yeah, I
Ironically, go
no, I
ahead.
was just gonna say I enjoyed Beetlejuice too, and some of my coworkers last year for Halloween threw a Beetlejuice inspired Halloween party.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, that's fun. Now, if anybody's been watching the show for the last 4 years, then you know I am not a fan of remakes. But this isn't a remake. This is like a sequel.
Okay.
It's not trying to redo Beetlejuice. This is Beetlejuice 2024. So I don't know if Jenna Ortega plays the daughter of what was the girl's name in the movie?
Too long ago for me to remember.
I can see her face, but I can't remember her name either.
All right, so
hold on.
Kay Smitty, you're on the case on this
I'll
one
Google
because
it.
you gave us Catherine O'Hara, the redhead. So
yeah, what was Winona Ryder's character's name, the daughter
in the original Beetlejuice. All right, Kay Smitty.
So I don't know.
I remember what it is now, but I'm not gonna say it. I'll see if the chat can bring it up first.
Okay.
I remember.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead, Desiree.
We're on it. We're on the case.
So it looks like so I'm wondering if the actor who played the father actually passed away. I think he did.
Okay.
Because wasn't he I don't know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, it looks like they're, they come together because he passed away and they're back at the house. So it'll be interesting to see what the storyline is. So it doesn't look like a remake. It looks like like 20 years, 30 years, how many ever years later, which to me, I can get with that program. I don't like remakes.
Right. Especially for a movie with such a strong storyline with strong characters. And speaking of remake, forgive me, Kari, but that just reminded me of something I attempted to watch and was very disappointed. It's not even a remake. I tried to watch Wonka.
Yeah.
I fell asleep.
And it was
yeah,
it was a Wonka?
It was a Wonka. It was a Wonka. And I was very disappointed. I love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. When I was in elementary school, I played Veruca Salt's mom Veruca Salt's mom. So I absolutely love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And
so Black Sub in the chat got it right. It's Lydia Dietz. Yes. That's her name.
You all, I'm telling you, y'all are the shit.
I love our people.
Epic.
Love it.
Epic.
Nothing like crowd participation. Because listen, we don't have admin in the background doing the research for us. So I appreciate. Shout out to Kay Smitty because you came through as well. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
See, y'all is how we get this show happening, okay? Because I'm telling you.
Absolutely. I do want to say there is a remake that I have zero interest to see, and that's Mean Girls. A lot of people that are big Mean Girls fans are like, "Oh, the new Mean Girls," and I'm just like,
I didn't even see the original Mean Girls, believe it or not, and I'm gonna tell you why. I don't like Mean Girls. I don't like Mean Girls. I couldn't support it.
I mean, it's kind of like Clueless, but more emphasized on that mean girl mentality. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of cute in the way that they get their karma. You know what I mean? Okay. So
True.
that part I like seeing that. So and I guess it kind of has like a moral to the story, like don't compromise your own morals and values and beliefs and interests for the sake of fitting in, because 9 times out of 10 they don't fit in either. No, it's all fabricated and it's false advertising. So don't get catfished.
Don't get catfished.
Right.
Shout out to Joey J. Their first time being here. Thank you, Joey J, for joining.
Hey, welcome. Woo-woo. Welcome.
Hi. Welcome. So let's get into some of the things that we have watched, because I've got some thumbs up. So
considering I can't remember, was that you, Desiree? Where did the thumbs up come from?
I don't know.
Holy cow.
That
Oh,
wasn't
it's my
me.
phone.
Oh, nice.
I'm on my phone.
That's
Is it like
crazy.
a filter?
I'm like, did somebody hack my computer? What the hell? Where did that come from?
It's because I'm on my iPhone. So you know the new iPhone, when you do these,
Okay.
there's some other ones, but I don't know how to make it happen. But
Okay.
anyway.
All right.
That's epic.
That I loved that. That
Love
was
it.
cool.
Me too.
Okay. So if I may,
You may.
I only remembered a few things. The one thing I needed to watch, I didn't get to it, but I'm gonna start with the ginormous, as my mother would say, release. I was having a Hulu weekend, y'all. I had to watch the documentary Freaknik. Let me say it again. Had to watch the documentary Freaknik.
Okay.
You cannot be a Black college student and have not either gone to or heard of Freaknik here in Atlanta. And let me say this. It was so much of an education for me because I had no idea the origin of the event. And it was fascinating knowing what I know, what I rumored about the event, and hearing how it originally started. Anybody who's ever gone to college knows someone who could not afford to go home for spring break.
Right.
Kari, right? So this
I've been
event,
to Freaknik.
Freaknik basically started as, here's what we're going to do since we can't go home for spring break. It literally started here in Atlanta. Atlanta has this corridor. There's a section of town where there are multiple HBCUs. Like literally, some places have a HBCU in their state. Atlanta has a whole neighborhood of HBCUs. And so a handful of these students got together and organized something for themselves to do on the third weekend of April. And it became Freaknik. And one of the fascinating things that I learned was the name Freaknik came as a result of, one, they were throwing parties and they would have themes for the parties, and they decided that they were going to use the word freak as a part of this idea. And freak, not in terms of being a sexual freak, but there was a group called Chic, and Chic had a really hugely popular song called La Freak. That's where they decided to grab that name. And then they had decided that their big spring break event was going to be a picnic in Piedmont Park or here in the area. And they were like, okay, we cannot use the word picnic because of its historical connotations. So they then took just the back end, the nick, and created this phrase, Freaknik. And then all year, they would host parties that all had freak in the name, freak, whatever, because the money they raised, they used to throw the event. They, got donations, they did all these things, and they were like about 50 people showed up that first time to for this event. Now, most of us know, and this was back in the 80s, early to mid 80s. Most of us know Freaknik from the latter years for the actual freaky deaky event that it turned into. And what again, fascinating, it got to that freak level when Luke Campbell got involved. Okay, and if y'all don't know who Luke Campbell is, y'all need to look it up. Google him. Google Luke Campbell out of Miami. You will understand how Freaknik became Freaknik that we all know. Yeah. But it was a fascinating story. If you have Hulu, I highly recommend you watch it. It's not long. Yes, honey. Uncle Luke. Yes, Uncle Luke. Miami base, baby. Anyway, I
So
highly recommend you watch because it's really, like I said, I know Freaknik, but I don't know Freaknik the way they give you that history of it, and it was so worth watching.
so being that I used to live in Jacksonville, Florida, okay, which is only a hop, skip, and a jump from Atlanta. So going to Atlanta was a pretty popular thing to do. Going to Daytona, Miami. And so Daytona had their spring break, but ironically, they had a week that was spring break for the lighter shade of folks. And then there would be Black College Week after Freaknik.
Yeah.
So I've been to both. Now, the difference with Freaknik was that in order to get to Atlanta from Jacksonville, you had to go 75 north.
Mm-hmm.
And as you got to, let's say, Macon, which is about an hour outside of Atlanta, and, you know, where things start to, you know, you start heading more west towards, I think that's where 75 and like 85, or it turns into 85 or whatever. This is where you would meet a deadlock, because everybody that was traveling north to Atlanta, because at this time there was no Black College Week in Daytona. It was, you know, basically, you know, spring break in Daytona for certain people, and then everybody else was going to Freaknik for the real party, where they could party with, you know, the different people. So you get on the highway, you're literally deadlocked in traffic for hours. So people are getting out of their car and basically shaking their asses on the side of the highway, on the cars, in the middle of the
Wow.
freeway.
And
Yeah.
it's
People are
actually,
doing things that are,
you were actually, like, when you talk about 75 and 85, you were actually in Atlanta proper. Macon is further south, but you were in Atlanta at that junction that you're talking about. And
well, it
that
started at Macon,
the
because people that were coming south, people like coming from, you know, 95 south, they would come, and it seemed like Macon was kind of like the point from people coming south, and then people coming north, and then eventually heading west towards
yes,
Atlanta.
but the specific part that you're talking about with the 85 and the 75 and the people on the
You're
highway
actually in
doing,
Atlanta,
that
right?
was actually Atlanta. And that, it's, let's just put it this way, after, as I don't remember which one of y'all said, Uncle Luke, the Caramel Goddess mentioned Uncle Luke, after it got to that level, yeah, you can forget about actually getting to Piedmont Park. You are partying wherever your car stopped. And they talked about that on the show, that people would just park their car and walk away because they knew they were never going to actually get to the park, and they knew their car was not going to move any further than it was right there. And yeah, that is a real thing. And part of what killed Freaknik was Atlanta got awarded the 1996 Olympics, and up until that point it had been getting wild and crazy, and you know, folks were having issues with it or whatever. But if you know anything about the Olympics coming anywhere, I don't care if it's in the United States, if it's in Europe, if it's in Asia, they literally take control of that municipality, and they develop it specifically to host this international event. And so the city was like, all right, we're shutting this down. We can't keep having this happen. And so through a series of evaluations and reviewing of and whatever, they decided that they could not allow, the city of Atlanta would not allow Freaknik to happen anymore. Now, the part that that I just got a really good giggle at the very end, like, 'cause they talked to various people who, you know, participated in Freaknik, and they were talking to this one guy at the very end, And this is after they showed this young guy who bought the name Freaknik and was hosting new Freakniks and very nice event. And the guy was like, just because you buy Freaknik don't mean it's Freaknik. And he basically was like, yeah, nah, fuck all of that. No, no, that's not Freaknik. So I would like, because Christopher made mention of, I hope they bring it back. I'm gonna be honest with you, Freaknik, as we know its reputation, will never ever be that
Come
again.
back.
And that is the thing that drew people to the event, because it started as a college event and it evolved into this big gigantic thing. As a matter of fact, the other really significant part about the show was they said that So Def, Jermaine Dupri, he literally launched his record company using Freaknik. He would give out, he had a whole street team and would give out cassette tapes during Freaknik and basically launched his people, launched the record company, launched all his talent, Crisscross, Debrat, Escape, all of them got launched as a result of Freaknik, because as Kari mentioned, cars were stopped dead on the highway, dead on the streets. They couldn't go anywhere. And Freaknik was that place that you brought your car with your banging system. And so what better place than these hundreds and hundreds of cars to start handing out tapes and have people playing your music all over the city. So yeah, they talk about the fact that him doing that at that time not only launched So Def, but it literally put music on the map for Atlanta, because all the Atlanta talent started blowing up as a result of Freaknik.
So, fun fact, a lot of people started bringing like trailers, like the big lawn trailers where you would put all of the lawn stuff. They would start bringing those trailers, and the kind of trailers that had the flat surface. They would create a stage on those trailers, and in the other trailers, so it was like a team of people. And so one truck would be the truck that had the trailer that was covered, and inside of that would have the bar, and some of them had cookers. They'd pull out the cookers, be cooking on the side of the road. Like, it was an experience. I went to school with 95 South and 69 boys, and that's how we ended up going to Freaknik. Is they were going up there to meet a producer that was going to help them, which ended up being part of Tootsie Roll. Anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, it was
good times. I had a good time. I'm not gonna lie. It was definitely a memory I'll never forget. In fact, I had more fun at Freaknik than I did when I went to Black College Week in Daytona. Just because it was just a different environment. But yeah, I'm afraid to watch it because I'm like,
you're not gonna see yourself.
I don't care. It's just the whole like going down the memory lane. Like, there was a lot of crazy things that happened.
So I'm trying to think. This should let's say it's an hour and 40 minutes, right? A good chunk of that is the historical story.
Yeah, I saw about
how
that.
It developed. It's only maybe the last 20 minutes or so that talked about the ugly side of the event, how towards the end of it all, women were being sexually assaulted and all of those things. So yeah, but anyway, good movie. Really, really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, it's not that I think that I'm in it, but it's just like it takes me back to a time when I was definitely had a different lifestyle. I mean, good times, but yeah, nonetheless. But the interesting part about the Freaknik that you bring up is that in BMF, they talk about I forget what they called it, but it's like an annual event where Jack the Rapper.
Okay.
Yeah, where all the production companies and the music industry, and in the 80s, everyone came to Atlanta for this big event, and they would network and put out their music, that kind of thing. Well, it ends up being in BMF because Meech ends up going to Jack the Rapper. So
yeah, literally that is the only part of the show I saw where he's talking about going to Jack the Rapper. But anywho, yeah.
That's all we're going to talk about with BMF. I don't want to give too much away, so make sure you tune in next week
Stay
for
tuned.
the follow-up, the catch-up of BMF.
Yes.
Desiree, what you got on your list?
I watched Dr. Pimple Popper. Some more pimple popping. Okay.
And I gotta be honest, I actually dig that kind of stuff. I'm not even gonna lie, because I love a good plastic surgery show. So yeah, but
it's kind of gruesome. But yeah, she did a lot of stuff.
I'm always really fascinated. It's interesting to see what comes out, how it looks when it comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. And how some stuff is not, like, certain things you might not need surgery for, but some things you do. So it's kind of gross, but I like it. I don't know. It's good.
Yeah. I'm going to hard pass on that one. But I did watch a new movie with Uma Thurman and Samuel L. Jackson, and it's called Kill Room.
Oh, no good?
I did not.
Oh, no bueno.
No bueno. I only watched it because I was like, this has to get better. It's Samuel L. Jackson. It has to get better. And it's Samuel L. Jackson.
How old is I'm pretty sure I saw it as I was scrolling through things over the weekend. I'm pretty sure I saw that. What did you watch it on?
I think it was Hulu. Hold on, let me go look. So essentially the basis of the movie is that Uma Thurman is a struggling art dealer. She has a art studio, and she's in competition in New York with all these big time art dealers that are selling. 2023 is when it came out.
Okay, yeah.
And
I think I started to watch it and just lost interest.
So essentially, so she's the owner of the art gallery, and Samuel L. Jackson comes in and is like, he's, they are hitmen, I guess, and he's the boss of the hitman. The hitman calls himself the bag man because he does his hits by putting the bags over their heads. Oh, is that Jason? Jay Handy? What's up, Mr. Handy? Jay! So anyways, he takes the bag and he puts them over his head, and that's how he, expires them. Well, then she comes along and they're trying to launder the money through the art gallery. And so he does these pieces with the bags that he used to expire people. And like, it becomes this craze. Like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is art. And they're literally like grocery bags. And so I don't know. It was weird. Okay. And then the ending was even weirder. And it was just like, ugh.
I literally started to watch it simply because I watched the promo, and I was going to watch it because I did think it was kind of weird with the whole suffocating in the bag and then trying to sell the bag. Like, that totally caught my attention. But again, I think I totally just spaced out on it.
I watched it till the end because I was just curious of like how it was gonna end, and it was bizarre. Like, it was just, but I mean, maybe also because I kind of spaced out on a lot of it too. I was just like, why like, it just was just odd to me. So yeah, Kill Room, not a fan.
Okay. To Nicholas, this is Boob Tube on EXXXOTICA.tv. Thank you for joining the show. And big shout out to our executive producer Jay Handy.
Day.
Wait, hold on. We got to give Jay some applause here.
Long time no see, friend. All right, Casey, what else do you have over there?
Okay, so since I'm in a documentary kind of mood, I watched Wendy Williams' What a Mess.
And
what is it?
Wendy Williams, What a Mess.
I
was watching Hulu. I was watching Hulu, but it's a Lifetime. This one had the date of 2021, so I don't know if it's the most recent Lifetime, whatever.
No,
but but nonetheless, it is definitely, where you see. Oh, okay, all right. I grew up in New York. I know Wendy Williams from all of her radio stuff. When she first came into the scene, when she ended up leaving and going to Philly, like I know all of the Wendy Williams. I know Wendy Williams when she was talking about the gay rappers,
right.
everything, all the Wendy Williams. So it was really, really cool watching that historical part of Wendy. And then they get to the moment in her life where she meets Kevin, and how they like instantaneously became thick as thieves, and how it, in one hand he appeared to be good for her, and at the other, on the other hand, he was not good for her. And he basically came to the situation with nothing. Wendy, when he met her, was already on the come up, already had made a name for herself. And so
Right.
it's interesting to see how that moment appears like it's when she took off, but she was already on that
On the
trajectory. Yeah. He sort of latched on and took control of everything. And when you watch this program, you hear how he isolated her. He, wouldn't let her do anything without him being present, even to when she had the Wendy Williams talk show. And they weren't allowed to have production meetings without him being in the room. All of the people that she had been doing business with before that, he basically pushed them out of the picture. So you get to see where, like I said, it seemed like he was good for her, and then you realize he wasn't good for her. And she's got significant medical issues. So like in this show, she literally spent the whole show on the sofa of her apartment with these they're I forget what they're called, but like these it's like these sleeves or what have you on her bed, on her legs, and they provide like some compression because she's got this disease that causes her legs to swell. And
compression stockings.
They're not stockings. They're like it's
like a massage pad.
Yes,
but
wrapped
around the leg, and it keeps the blood circulating throughout the legs so that they don't.
Yes. So like they cover her feet, they go all the way up her thighs, and she has to do it for like 2 hours at a time. So so it was really very sad. Compression pads, yeah, they're literally like they're like thigh highs, think whatever. But it's really very, very sad because you see, I mean, granted, there are some folks who are going to say that she deserved what she got. This is karma, la, 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 la. But I don't think anyone, no matter how crappy they were, deserves to experience the things she did. Because she talked about how Kevin was in this relationship with this young girl for years. I did not know Kevin was younger than her. Kevin was like 22, 23 when he met her, and she was in her 30s or whatever.
Yeah, significantly younger.
And it was, man, like the stuff they talked about, it was mind-blowing. Just how much she's endured, even her childhood. one side of her face talks about how loving her family was, and the other side of her face talks about how her mom and dad used to just demoralize her, call her fat and say things that really, really jacked up her esteem, yet at the same time, ultimately love her and she loves them. And, you're kind of like, wait, I don't get it. Like, you got people at home calling you fat and wanting to know, are you eating again and that much and all of that. And I'm like, it is no one. I mean, like, I'm totally amazed at how well she did for herself, and yet at the same time super sad at how it all has come crashing down around her. Now, I have to admit, there was one moment that I got a real good tickle out of, because she talked about her new apartment that she was in, and the view and the high ceilings and all of the stuff about this new apartment now that she was single and living away from Kevin. And she then talked about how much she loved caviar. She had her little sleeves, her compression sleeves on her legs. And she was like, okay, and now the caviar. And then the moment that blew my mind, I had to turn around and look at the TV. And she talked about eating, I don't remember if it was the Flamin' Hot Doritos, but some Doritos with the caviar and how good it was. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
You are ratchet no matter how much money you have. But I'm trying that because I love caviar,
right?
and Doritos. I'm trying that.
Right.
She says you are still. You know what? For me, it was very heartbreaking to see. I mean, it was an interesting perspective on her sharing, like her just talking about the gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like it, watching that show kind of, I don't want to say changed my perspective of Wendy, but it definitely gave me a little bit more insight into who she was and the things that she's gone through, and that, what she's doing wasn't much different than other people. It was just a different format.
Right.
And
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the gossip columns. I'm not a fan of, constantly talking about people's business and, their demise and capitalizing on when people are going through hard times. But I also understand, that's how people have made their money for many, decades. That's
True.
how paparazzi makes their money. That's how these magazines and TMZ and all these things. And
Yep.
if people didn't consume it, then there would be no place for a person like Wendy. So understood that she can't be considered the devil if she didn't have a cult to follow her.
Right.
If it's like, if you don't buy something, then the company doesn't become rich and famous and whatever.
Exactly.
So I get it. So
That's right.
it definitely helped me see things from a different lens. So it is heartbreaking, and it's sad how, Kevin just played her. Like,
yeah,
so, yeah,
it was definitely, definitely not good how he got away with murder in terms of, you know, just taking advantage of her situation and making it his. And one of the things that she said that I found very, very sad is she kept saying that she had not been physically abused. That she had not been physically abused. He had, he had never hit me. He never hit me. He never hit me. And it was just how emphatic she was about it. Meanwhile, when you're listening to other people talk, they talk about the fact that people were afraid of Kevin, that people, you know, they would remove themselves from her life just because he had this physically imposing presence that folks who had been down with her for years were like, that's all right, I'll pass. So, you know,
to some degree, when that's what Wendy needed in her life in the beginning. But I'll also say that even though he may not have put his hands on her, per her quote, that's what she said, that's not the only form of abuse. Obviously, he mentally abused her. He verbally abused her. He isolated her, which is a form of abuse. That's what abusers do, is they isolate you so that you don't have anyone to come and rescue you because, you've made your choice. You're where you want to be, they think.
Right.
So it's sad because in the end, she's the one that ultimately pays the price. He's off living his new life with the new girl, or not so new girl, but he's got the money, and it's just sad. It's sad because seeing her deteriorate the way that she has and being in the condition that she's in.
Right.
And you should be by her side, but yeah.
And the day that she passed out, when she was in the Statue of Liberty costume and she passed out on camera,
Stage,
she said that they they took
that.
her backstage and they did whatever. Well, actually, let me back up. She said Kevin came, scooped her up, took her backstage. They attended to her and all of that. And Kevin basically was like, "You can do this. You can do this." And that is why she ended up going back out and finishing the show. Like, hello?
Aww.
That was not the no. She should have gone to the hospital and then maybe come back the next day. But to just have some commercial break and now she's back, like, you are just working this chick like a field N-word. And it's just,
I was wondering where you were going with that. Like,
sorry about that, y'all. But oh well.
Casey, I love it.
Sorry.
I love it.
Sorry, I was a little too far in my.
What you got for us, Desiree?
Okay, I'm sticking with like first responders kind of shows. I watched Station 19 too. That's it's got like a whole bunch of like firefighters and stuff. And then I also wanted to send like a huge prayers and thoughts to those people out in Baltimore because of the bridge.
Kari's neck of the woods.
Yes.
Right.
So
yeah, it's not.
I had to bring it up. Yeah, I had to bring it up. So
it's been it's not a bridge that we travel frequently. It's not like an everyday thing. Maybe, twice a week. I mean, so I guess that's kind of frequently, but for me, I think the biggest issue is a lot of people are trying to turn it into a conspiracy theory that it was a planned event and da da da. And it's like, luckily there was enough notice to where there wasn't a whole lot of casualties, because at the time that this happened is when rush hour is starting to accumulate traffic. And normally at that time there would be more cars on the bridge, but luckily they were able to stop some of the traffic. Obviously not all of them. They've had some casualties. But yeah, it was crazy. Like I had a doctor's appointment, so we leave for the doctor's appointment, and like I'm getting all these text messages and phone calls and all these and I'm like, what is going on? And then we turn on the radio and everyone's like, the bridge collapsed, and we're like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But it's a major, it's in a major place of the city. It's around the Beltway, so it's the Beltway that surrounds Baltimore, but it's a major
it's the port of Baltimore. The port of Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's
so
yeah. I mean, that's where cargo comes in and goes out. It's cruise ships are coming in and out.
Well, the cruise ships have been there. Like there will be none leaving from Baltimore, and actually there was a cruise that's supposed to come in on Sunday, and apparently they had to they're gonna have to go to a different port. So thank you for everyone. Like unfortunately, I mean not unfortunately, but fortunately for me, like I wasn't on the bridge.
You weren't harmed. Yeah, you weren't harmed. So
yeah. So what you got, Kari?
I am excited to talk about my thumbs up. Are we getting thumbs up on the screen?
It's not showing up. Yeah. I'm mad now. Wait, she froze. Holy cow. That is too funny. She is frozen. Okay, Kari.
Come back to us.
Yeah.
Come back.
Okay. I lost everybody.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either. I'm like,
Jay, did you kick us off?
you know, like where'd they go? I'm like, first I'm thinking Kari's frozen, and then you both popped off. I'm like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Are we live?
We're here.
Are we
Yeah.
live, Des?
Here.
Oh, I'll check. I think so.
Something just popped up
Apple
in the
Never
comments.
Falls with Annette Bening and Sam Neill. You have to watch it.
Yeah, we are. We
What's
are.
it called?
You have to watch it. Do what? It's called Apple Never Falls, and I believe it's on Peacock.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's on either Hulu or Peacock or Netflix. I don't know. I watch so many different things that I don't remember which one it's on. But anyways, it's a story of a family. The parents are big time tennis. They have a tennis academy, and the beginning of the show starts out with they're retiring, and they've got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and it just looks like a normal, well-to-do family in Southern Florida, West Palm Beach, and the parents are retiring. But then the mom goes missing, and the story starts to like how they're trying to the kids are like, oh, mom never not returns my text messages or calls and blah 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 blah. And so the series, each episode focuses on one person, which I thought was extremely, and like that was a great approach. So like each episode, each one would have like each of the kids. So that was 4 episodes. Then they do like a little backstory on the husband, and then they do the backstory on the wife, and then they start to show what actually happened. I'm not gonna spoil it. You guys got to watch it, but it definitely
perfect.
And there was the I don't remember what she played on, but there's the older daughter where she's like this hippie into the whole like spiritual awakening, and she's a life coach, but she never finishes anything. Like she's a hot mess. And so she for me was the very interesting character, because just how she is so crazy, but when you start putting all the facts together, she was the one that seemed to have the most amount of, like, I don't want to say belief, but like she was the one that was most convinced that there was a problem, where everyone else was kind of like, eh.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, you got to watch Apple Never Falls.
I think it was Hulu, because I remember seeing that, and I was having a Hulu weekend. So,
well, it's worth binging. It's worth watching. At least for me, I thought it was real exciting.
Okay.
Because you think you know. You think you know, and then the end is like,
I've got one more, and it's not Hulu. This one was Netflix. I think it was Netflix.
Oh.
It wasn't Netflix. It was Prime. But anyway, it's called Bottoms. 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 And it's about these young girls who start a fight club in high school so that they could get some girls. Let me say it again. 2 girls start a fight club so they could get some girls.
Yeah.
And then they, of course,
right?
Of course, it goes wrong. Yeah, of course it goes wrong. And
of course,
and the one of the girls acts really mean towards one of the girls that helped them get the fight club started, and she then reveals the fact that they only started the club so that they could get themselves some hot cheerleader girlfriends. And then they discover that there's a rivalry between their school and this other school. It's like the homecoming game. And the rivalry has been going on for years, decades even. And apparently every year, one of the football players for the girls' school is physically attacked, murdered, whatever. Like something totally outrageous, absolutely outrageous. And so they're like, hey, we got to save the school. We got to save the football players. So the quarterback on their, their school team, he's a total douche, but he's allergic to pineapple. And they discover that the other team somehow connected the football sprinkler system to these giant pineapple juice canisters, and they were about to trigger the the field sprinklers. Well, these girls, they get out on the squad on the field, and they basically murder the other team in front of the whole school. Like, I know, and I'm like condensing this way down. You have to see it. It is the most outrageous thing I've seen for a girl, like for a chick flick, girl movie, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely outrageous. Because at first you think they're just beating these guys up. Because again, they legit had this fight club, and they were legit beating each other up in school. Like, that was their after school activity, fight club. And they kill, murder on the football field the opposing team. And just as they get the douchey football quarterback off the field and have murdered everybody, like, the sprinkler goes off and it's pineapple juice. And, when they realize it's pineapple juice, they're all, everybody's like slow clap to applaud the fact that they saved the quarterback. And I'm like, oh my God, this is absolutely ridiculous. I loved it. Loved it.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I was
waiting.
Yes, I loved it.
I think it's the diversity of the storyline, which is what I was hoping for the Kill Room. I was hoping that the diverse storyline would intrigue me, but it just, I don't know.
It's and I think you're right, Kari. That's really what made me keep watching it, because it was these two girls who were coming up with a plan for how to shoot their shot with the two girls that they like in the school. And it is the most outrageous thing that they could come up with. And I forget, I think it's Marshawn Lynch, is some football player who's like the advisor for the squad, for their little crew. The most outrageous advisor you could have for a girl fight club. I'm sorry, it was so thoroughly entertaining. I totally dug it. I loved how outrageous it was, because fact of the matter is, if these had been boys, you wouldn't have even thought twice about the fact that they created a fight club so that they could get some girls and whatever. You wouldn't have thought twice about the fact that they murdered a whole football team, that they killed these people in front of the whole school. You'd have been like, that's boys. That's what boys do. But the fact, and they were absolutely, utterly nerdy. They were nerdy as all get out. These girls were super nerds and geeky, and I mean, like, it was crazy. It was crazy, and it was so good at the same time. Loved it. Bottoms is what it's called. Bottoms.
Not tops, but bottoms.
Yeah.
But speaking of bottoms, what time is it?
It's that time.
But that time. Yep.
First of all, we would love to say thank you to all the new people watching. But
hold on, Kari. Let's see. I gotta put you back. There we go.
I got picked out.
Yay!
Okay, make sure you come to EXXXOTICA starting in April 12th to the 14th, Chicago, Illinois, June 28th to the 30th, Miami, Florida, October 25th to the 27th in Edison, New Jersey, and December the 6th to the 8th in my backyard, Washington, D.C. But September 13th to the 15th, 2024 is the third annual and the one and only Cannabis 420 Expo. You can follow us on social media, the 420 Expos, and go to 420expo.com for your tickets. It's going to be a blast. But
Hold on. I gotta get it right. There we go.
There we go. Yay!
follow us on social media. These pink boxes give you our social media links. But also make sure you're following Exotica. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment down below. Comment on Twitter. Comment everywhere. Let us know you're watching.
Everywhere.
Yeah, let us know what you suggest that we watch, or if you heard something that we mentioned and you have a comment about that. We would love to hear it. And as you know, we love to talk about the comments during our live show, which will be again next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep your phone or your alarm or whatever you have, your calendar locked and loaded so that you can catch our next episode next Wednesday, where we'll be catching up on BMF. We'll be talking about other things that we're watching, and hopefully some of your suggestions will end up on our live as well. So till next time, back to you, Casey.
Peace out, y'all.
Woo, woo.